Ladies and gentlemen, I am about to blow your minds with 4 movie reviews in one blog. That's right. You will be prepared, you will watch it, and you will not believe what's unfolding before your eyes. Okay, not really. This is just going to be crappy. This has got a lot of breath. And I've seen 4 movies lately, all of which I was intending to review separately, but then I was like, oh, I'm never going to get around to that. I know I'm too lazy to do 4 separate videos. So I decided, why not just, do a real rush job on it and do all 4 completely unscripted and just basically go full on at it recklessly and crash most likely. But it should be an interesting crash if I do so. So the first film that I want to get to is Valkyrie, which I had seen in the theaters because I had to see something before the other film, Frost Nixon, because I had a ton of time on my hands and I didn't want to go visit the Barnes & Noble, and so I was like, all right, I'll go see Valkyrie. This movie was surprisingly good. I had heard a ton of terrible things about Valkyrie, and so I had avoided it almost completely. And I didn't think the trailers looked very appealing. It looked like Mission Impossible meets the Nazis, and that might be just because I'm biased, and I saw Tom Cruise and I was like, oh great, he's gonna absolutely slaughter this movie. But one thing that attracted me to it was the fact that it was directed by Bryan Singer. And a lot of you may not know this, but I love Bryan Singer's work. I loved Superman Returns. I loved the X-Men movies. So I felt like I owed him one, which is something I usually feel for directors. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give you another shot. If this is crappy, you've lost the same sort of respect that I had for you before. But if it's good, I'm going to continue fanboying over you and being like, Bryan Singer is the greatest director ever. Valkyrie was a good movie. It was tense. It was suspenseful. The music was good. The acting, for the most part, was good, even though they didn't have German accents, which is actually explained during the first part of the movie, because they're speaking in German at first with subtitles, and then it slowly transitions into English, sort of telling you that, they did actually speak in German there, but this is a movie, so we're allowed to take liberties. It's basically what the beginning of the movie is saying, and people don't seem to get that, and they go, why aren't they speaking with German accents? It's because this isn't... never mind, I'm going to fanboy all over them, because I feel like people bitch about stupid little things in this movie. It's a solid war film. It's a solid thriller. It's nothing more than that. It isn't great. It isn't fantastic. What it is a good, solid movie. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I thought it was entertaining. I said bad words under my breath occasionally because it was so tense, and that's a very good sign. And I thought Tom Cruise did a decent job. Frost Nixon, I do declare that this film is an excellent film. It is a film that, I can't do a Nixon impersonation to save my life. But Frost Nixon was very good. Okay, this movie was very good. I loved it. It was good. It was excellent. The acting was superb. The guy who played Nixon blew my mind. I was sitting in that theater. I was looking at him and I was like, wow, this guy needs some kind of an Oscar nod. And I'm pretty sure he had, but his performance it's unbelievable. He did such an excellent job. And what I think is funny is that Frost versus Nixon is just as tense as Valkyrie was. And this is some guy interviewing an ex-president about Watergate. That's the most tense part of the whole movie. And it keeps you at the edge of your seat. And you're like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? How's this interview going to unfold? Because I had never seen the interviews before. And I'm interested to watch them now. But I had never even heard of this story before. So I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to work out. The characters are all believable. You fall in love with all of them, basically. You can understand this guy's struggle and his passion to really put Nixon on trial. It is so good. But I don't think it's as good as people are raving it as being. Well, that sounds like a low blow. It's a great drama. Is it fantastic? No, I don't think so. I don't think there's enough of an emotional punch here to really push it over the edge for me. But I still loved it. I still thought it was very good. I'm going to give Frost Nixon a 4 out of 5. Thought it was an excellent movie, and that everyone should at least see it on DVD. If you don't see it in the theater, see it on DVD. James and the Giant Peach. I rented this on DVD since Coraline is going to be coming out in the next few days, next couple of weeks. So I was like, well, I have to watch another film by Henry Selick besides Nightmare Before Christmas. So might as well give James and the Giant Peach a try. Oh my god, the live action sequences in this movie are some of the most dreadful, painful things I have ever seen. Note to self, if Henry Selick ever tries to direct anything in live action ever again, send him as much hate mail as possible. It hurt my head. Seriously, the live action bits in this movie are dreadful. The animated bits are gorgeous. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. Because it's Henry Selick. He's the best stop motion animator in the industry right now, or one of the best. He's an artist. He's a mastermind of stop motion animation. And while the movie looked nice, I didn't like the script. I hated the script, in fact. I hated the movie in and of itself. The characters were irritating. The story didn't grab me on any sort of emotional level. The songs were mediocre. I hate to say this because it's Thomas Newman did the songs for this, I believe. And he's written a ton of great stuff. So it hurts to say, Thomas Newman, your song sucked. But they did. The songs were terrible. The characters were terrible. The script was terrible. The only thing that's really worth seeing this movie for is the stop motion animation, which causes you to drool if you know how much work stop motion animation is, if you understand the craft. Otherwise, James and the Giant Peach is a huge waste of time. In my humble opinion, I felt like I had wasted an hour and 20 minutes on it. And so I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. Just skip it. If you see it by the wayside, you know, if you're curious, pick it up, I guess. Because a lot of people love the movie, and I know I'm in the minority when I say it sucks really, 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 really bad. And then the last movie on this list would Be Kind, Rewind. This is directed by the guy who did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And again, I felt like I owed him one, because Eternal Sunshine was a brilliant movie. Absolutely freaking brilliant. I loved the hell out of it. And now we enter Be Kind, Rewind, and it's like, what happened? What, is this the same guy? This is the same writer-director. And he's directing crap. Okay, Jack Black, for one thing. I'll say it straight out. I hate Jack Black. Jack Black isn't funny. Jack Black is irritating. Jack Black gets on my nerves. You get Jack Black and you get some other actor playing the main character who is boring as all get out. And then you've got this one girl who seems horribly unrealistic as far as her character is concerned. And you've got this plot that it doesn't know where it wants to go for 75% of the movie, and then all of a sudden during the last quarter it's like, oh wait, there is actually a point to this. And the last quarter is the strongest part of the whole movie. The last quarter is actually watchable. It's kind of sweet. It's got, you know, it isn't entirely terrible. The movie parodies that they do in this film, because if you don't know the basic plot, all the VHS tapes in the store have been erased magically by Jack Black becoming magnetized. And so they have to go through, they have to retape Ghostbusters because this one lady wanted to see it. And they were like, she won't notice a difference. She hasn't seen Ghostbusters. And so they go out and make a little 20-minute version of Ghostbusters starring them. And it ends up becoming this whole big thing, this phenomenon. And people go to the store just to rent their versions of these movies. And it's such a funny idea that I don't understand how they screwed it up so bad. The movie lacks laughs. It's not as funny as it needs to be. It's not as sweet as it needs to be. The Jack Black becoming magnetized thing is so ridiculous and so out of place that it made me cringe and say WTF. It's so bad. It's incredibly bad. Don't pick it up. No matter what you do, just don't bother. It's a 1.5. It's really bad. It's dreadful filmmaking. Just don't look at it. Don't give it the time of day. Leave it alone. Indiana, let it go. This is Gotta Love Breath, and I am signing out. Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Gonna stop recording right now.